today we're going to transfer from your box method into the standard algorithm. This is the way your parents are going to want you to do long division. Okay? Okay, awesome. Some of you may already know how to do this, but we are going to practice it. We're going to do the box method, and then I'm going to show you how that goes into the standard algorithm. Okay? So we are going to do first 7,416 divided by 2. I'm going to go ahead and draw my box. So when I'm dividing by 2, what do I need to write down the side? Yes, sir. Okay, my times 2's, what's another word for that?
Multiple.
Your multiples. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20. All right. So, now I'm looking at my thousands place. If I have $7,000 bills and I'm handing them and sharing them between 2 people, that's where I ask myself the question, what is my first multiple of 2 that is bigger than 7? 8. Put your finger on the 8. How many numbers are above it? How many? 3. So a 3 is going to go above it. So here I'm going to do, if I give 3 to each of those 2 people, that's the same as saying 3 times 2, which is?
5.
Say that again. What's 3 times 2? 6. So how many do I have left over? 1. Okay, so I'm going to bring my 1 over to the hundreds place. And now how many $100 bills do I have? How many? 14. So, again, I'm thinking I have 14 $100 bills that I need to share between 2 people. So, what's my first multiple of 2 that is bigger than 14? Put your finger on the 16. How many numbers are above it?
8.
Put your finger on that 16 and count how many are above it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 7 goes above my hundreds house. Okay? So if I give 7 to 2 people, they each get 7. How many did I use? 14. That's where I do 7 times 2, which is 14. So how many do I have left? 0. So I'm going to bring my 0 over into my tens house. So what's the first multiple of 2 that's bigger than 1? 2. Put your finger on it. How many numbers are above it? 0. So 0 to each of those 2 people. How many did I use? 0. So I have how many left? Oh, I have 1 left. So I'm going to bring that 1, 10, and break it up into ones. So now how many ones do I have? 16. What's my first multiple that is bigger than 16? 18. Put your finger on 18. How many are above that? 8. If I have 8, if I give 8 to each of those 2 people, that would be the same as 8 times 2, which is 16. And then I'm going to subtract. How many do I have left over? 0. Okay? Now, underneath that, we are going to set this up like we did whenever we did the subtracting partial quotients, but we don't have to draw the line all the way down, because now instead of keeping track of it off to the side, we're going to keep track of it right on top. So 7,416 divided by 2. Awesome. All right. So now I'm going to ask myself the same question. If I have 7,000, how many thousands can I give to each of these two people? So what's the first multiple that is bigger than 7? 8. So I'm just looking at this first place value. I ignore everything else. Okay? So what's my first multiple of 2 that is bigger than 7? 8. Put your finger on it. How many numbers are above it? 3. So guess what? That 3 still goes over that 7, because we're still talking about each person gets 3 $1,000 bills. Okay? 3 times 2 is what? 6. So how many are left over? 1. So now, the only difference here is now instead of bringing my 1,000 to my hundreds house, I'm actually just going to drop this number down next to my ones place, or next to my 1,000 that's left over. So now do you see that I still have 14 here? Okay, so now again I'm going to ask myself the same question. If I have 14, what's my first multiple of 2 that is bigger than 14? 16. Put your finger on it. How many numbers are above it? 7. So that 7 goes above my hundreds place, because each person is going to get 7 $100 bills. If I give 7 $100 bills to each of these two people, how much did I use? I used 14 $100 bills, so how many are left? 0. Again, instead of bringing my 0 up to my tens house, I'm going to bring my tens house down. So I have 1 10. What's my first multiple of 2 that's bigger than 1? 2. So put your finger on it. How many are above it? 0. I'm going to tell you many, many, many people, many 4th graders, many adults even, forget to put this 0 here, but it matters. Okay? 0 times 2 is 0. Now, I'm going to ask you something. I want you to put your pencils down for a second. If I put this 0 here and subtract, I still end up with 1 at the bottom. Do you agree? Okay. Now, what if instead I just go ahead and skip a step and bring down my 6 here? Do you see how I can do that? If I'm subtracting 0, I'm going to get the same thing, and it's not going to really help me. I'm just going to be using more paper. So I just went ahead and brought down that next place value. Okay. So I just kind of skipped this box, this tens house box. It just makes it a little bit easier, huh?
This is a lot. It is shorter.
It is shorter. So 16. What's my first multiple of 2 that is bigger than 16?
18.
18. Put your finger on it. How many numbers are above it? So 8 goes above it. 8 times 2 is 16. How many are left? 0. Now, am I done with my division?
No, you gotta check it.
I have to check it. How would I check this problem?
Multiply.
Yes, sir.
Multiply 3,708 by 2. Okay. Can I say that?
8 times 2 is 16. 2 times 0 is
0,
plus 1 is
1,
1. 7 times 2 is 14. I'm going to write my 4, carry my 1. 2 times 3 is
6,
plus 1 is.
7.
Did I get the same number I started with? So, okay. I want you to just look at specific parts of this. Hey, look. Does this part look familiar to you? Look, that's what's in your thousands house. Do you see that that's the same? Hey, look, if I just look at this 14 minus 14 and the 7 that's above your hundreds. Hey, look, that looks really familiar, right? Okay. It's exactly the same.
But easier.
It's the same thing, it's just written down a little bit differently. Okay? You good?
Yeah.
All right.